So I recently had the chance to play Rocket League, which is a game coming exclusively to the PlayStation 4, and it's a car game, but the objective to the game is essentially a game of football. So you will be either on a team right now, it's 1 versus 1, 2 versus 2, 3 versus 3, and recently in the newest closed beta it's now 4 versus 4. So what kind of makes it more unique, because it's this sort of mode has been featured in other racing games before, is that there's a lot more nuance to it than you may expect. In terms of features, every cars can have different bodies with different hitboxes, but stats are the same. So it's, for most part, it's an equal playing field throughout. And then in terms of unlocks, I think there's around 150 completely visual choices to choose between. Nothing will change stats or anything like that. There are multiple, I don't know if they're pitches or stadiums or maps, I don't know what way you want to put them. I've only played one, so I don't know how drastically different they'll be. But there's a roof, and you notice pretty quickly you can actually drive along the walls. Not 100% sure how that will change things too much, but you can. But the gameplay is probably the most surprising part to the game, because if you've played it, I remember back in the N64 days there was a game called Monster Truck Madness, and there was a mini game of football there, and I played way too much of that, but it was because it was a novelty. Like, be honest, it was a side activity, it was a bit of fun, but there wasn't a lot of thought put into it. There's a surprising amount of thought put into Rocket League. The feel of the car is, it takes maybe a match or two to get completely used to how the handbrake feels, and using boosts. There's little circular gold things on the ground that you pick up that increases your boost, and that boost is really effective. You can use it to obviously get down the pitch quicker. You can actually use it to take out a player that will bring them all the way back to their own goal. So if they're attacking and you're getting back, it's a cheap way, but it's a way to kind of take them out of the equation for a few seconds. But another aspect to how the cars feel is the jump button. And at the start I was like, okay, maybe this is just for like a goalkeeper if the ball's a bit high. Very quickly you start to realise you use that as maybe a header, which sounds absolutely ridiculous to say that you use a car when it jumps as a header, but it works. You can also use it to kind of put a different sort of, spin, but you can make the ball react a little differently to impact with the car when you jump. So the car does take a little bit to get used to, but it's incredibly fun to use. And probably the best part of it, one that's probably had to be tweaked over and over again, is the weight of the ball and how it interacts with when it gets hit with the car. The ball's a bit floaty, and when the ball goes in the air there's an indicator on the ground showing where it is and how high off the ground it is, so you know when it's starting to come down. So that's when you know you can jump for your headers and whatever it may be. But the ball feels floaty, but there's a bit of a weight behind it. Like, you can feel there's a velocity when you hit the ball really hard. Right now I think it honestly does feel just right. I think that's what kept me playing game after game, was pulling off these moves, using the car, using handbrakes and jumping and everything like that, and scoring some great goals, which when you score it causes a huge shockwave and sends the cars flying back in the other direction, which adds a bit of flair, it's a bit of fun. Visually it's actually, just real quick, it's pretty nice actually, it's surprisingly nice. The colours really stand out, and there's enough detail. It's not gonna set the world on fire, but it's nice enough for what the game is. So yeah, there'll be multiple stadiums and over 150 customizable options, but there's also a league, and I don't know, I think it's online, and I think there's an offline league, so it'll be interesting to have what is normally a mini game have the features of a full sports game in a way. It's hard to say. I think a lot of people may look at it and think, that'll be fun for 10 minutes. I played it for a couple of hours, to be honest with you. I played this a lot more than I've played other games with bigger budgets and other games with more features or whatever. But Rocket League is definitely shaping up to be a lot of fun. Like, I played completely with random people, and for the most part, like, they knew exactly what they were doing. There wasn't really anyone just going around trying to take out cars. There was no one really just staying in as a keeper. It was dynamic. You'd probably have someone probably stay back, and then if you saw them move up, you move back, and it's a nice like dynamic to how everyone seems to be playing right now. So I'm really excited to see what else this game has in store. It's set to release this summer, but yeah, it seems pretty good.